Okay. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Okay. Alright. Everything's fine. Okay. I don't know. It's just going... one of those days. Okay, there we go. This, all this. Bloop. What the frick does that even... What? What even is that? What is that? What's this? What's this? It's... A cat's everywhere. What's this? What's this? Okay. What's up? Oh, so it's what's up backwards. Okay. Oh, now you have a beard now. Why are things like this? I fix it and then it decides to break somewhere else. There we go. Fixed it now. Okay. Or no, it decided to break again. Why? Till now, you haven't noticed. Well, I knew about the Santa hat. I think it blends in with the cat's original, like, thing. My majestic fate. Fluffy beard. Oh boy. Oh, I didn't want to click that. Let me do what I need to do, game. Bum 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 ba-da-dum. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Iris. Thank you, okay. I just gotta get to the beginning again, because I wanna... I don't think I did anything, so we go inside and cyberwave when the old geezer shows up in his face. What, a beard? Or another raccoon? When you say geezer, I presume you mean the victim and proprietor of the shop, Mr. Windybank? Well, sorry, I mean, that's right.
We's are keeping a close eye on the entrance to the gaff, obviously. But we never thought no one's gonna come out of the back room like that.
No, but cast? What do you want to cast? The back room being the pawnbrokery storeroom? Yeah, that must be where he popped up from. Only place he could have been. Such would seem the victim was already in the storeroom when these brothers entered the premises. Each of me arms. Why? Why do you want casts for your arms? That's not helpful. Oh, is it because of your girlfriend?
Which means Jenny must have been in there at that point as well.
But that doesn't make sense, does it? If Jaina had threatened Mr. Windybank into the storeroom with her at gunpoint, then why would he have emerged from the same room alone when the brothers arrived? You can take a guess. I had to think about it. I'm like, how is that going to help you? Yes, it took me a second.
Oh, I don't know.
Did you see the accused at that time? What, that mold? Tooler? Couldn't tell you.
No way, Combo. We had a bigger fist to fry then. I mean, the old geezer just lost it.
I just realized Nash's second button is silver, and the other two are black. So I think they sewed on a new button to edit. I guess, but I think the second Ed is the one over here, not east. Golly.
Hold it!
You mentioned that Mr. Windybank shouted these words those words in your previous testimony too. However, you claimed that you heard him yelling them on the other side of the storeroom door.
Oh, did we?
But the truth is, he was shouting those words at you, wasn't he?
Well, yeah.
Was the victim Mr. Windybank wielding a gun at the time? Weapon at the time? Ed is the one in the middle, Eddie is the first, and Ed is the last. Is it? Oh, you're meaning in this context, yeah. I thought you were talking about the original show, and I was like, huh? But yeah. We got Ed, Eddie, we got... Oh my goodness. We got Ed with 1 D, we got Eddie with 2 Ds, and then Ed.
Was ever limey.
Great, ugly barrel in your head. Pulling straight at... He frontispiece. What the frick? So what you're saying is, you definitely saw Mr. Windybank with the weapon at that time, is that right? It does. Actually, it really does.
It is, Gov, it is spot on. Then all of a sudden, he came at us. He did.
It was Bedlam. I didn't know he was going for whose. You were clearly all going for each other. Like Nash said, we thought we had it. I mean, for an old geezer, he was strong.
Hold it!
Yes, I know that you mentioned the counter in your previous testimony, too. Well, yeah, of course we did.
He knocked over loads of books, candlestick, and some skull whatnot.
I got tangled in some marionette. What knocked over a picture frame, what knocked the scales on the floor. Oh, in fact, it wasn't the sound of the weapon making noise that shocked you and made you knock these things off the counter?
Big bruv went fine over the...
My goodness.
I can tell you, then the old geezer pinned him.
He did, Nash, he did. If he ain't been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a bloomin' pancake in seconds. Only he eats the fish, never the chips. Yep, because I guess he just likes fish better than chips. I'm assuming the chips keep the fish warm. At that point in goodness. At the time in question, the alarm was raised at the local police station via secret cable from the pawnbroker. There was a button under the counter used to achieve it, which was presumably pressed by the victim. That's right. When the brothers fled the scene and back onto the street, they ran straight into the arriving police, didn't they?
Mr. Windybank, he did everything he could to protect his shop.
Blah blah blah. He pulled his weapon out, then he ran to the door, okay. Were you intending to shoot Mr. Windybank? Golly, what? Oh, golly.
No, never. I was just, looking out for me bluff. One time. He was being flattened, don't worry.
By a man whose shop was being burgled, yes. And then the man fled into the storeroom when you pointed your weapon at him, is that it? This handshake? Yeah, they've been doing it for a while. They really like doing a handshake with one another.
Yeah, that's it. He shows me a way, then he ran out through the door and shut himself in.
My goodness. There's something about that last remark. Something that doesn't quite ring true.
Well, wonder why Mr. Windybank ran away into the storeroom.
What?
Well, according to what everyone's saying, Ginny was in there waiting for him with a weapon.
Ah, yes, that's right. Gina allegedly used Mr. Windybank's weapon to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how did the weapon end up in Mr. Windybank's hands again?
I have no idea, but that is strange, isn't it?
100% friendship? Yep. That's the Skull Brothers over here. This little inconsistency could be significant. I should make a mental note of it.
Look, the point is, me and me bruv here.
That's right, Nash, that's right. Me and me bruv here. Okay. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That was all that happened. I swear.
Hold it!
You say you had nothing to do with it.
Nothing, no.
Nothing, Gav, nothing. That old geezer went and shut himself in the back room, didn't he?
Locked it was from the inside.
We knows it was because we tried to open it.
But it's a decent door, that one. Good and strong, what a bunch an inch.
So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker, there was only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have shot the victim, the accused, Miss Gina Let's Trade.
It would indeed appear so. What say to you that? What say you to that, Counsel?
I don't know. Was there anyone else apart from Gina who could have possibly shot Mr. Windybank? There could have been. Mr. Skulkin. How did you just get her name now? I've said it multiple times. I can't believe you didn't understand it now. Mr. Skulkin.
What?
What's that look for? From the moment you admitted that you encountered the victim face to face that night, the course of this trial changed completely.
It did?
What is your point, my learned friend? It just fits so well, it went over my head. When I first heard the name, I was like, oh, it fits so well. It just works really... Like, the name just feels normal, but then just the extra punness of the name is perfect. Oh boy. The question we must answer is, who could have shot Mr. Windybank? And it is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all. Okay! You have my attention? In that case, let us return to this plan of the premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts, so pray, what other possible answer to the question of who shot the man could there be?
Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect of 2 conundrums.
2, my lord. Twice as many chances to be right, maybe?
Indeed, namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time?
Understood, my lord.
Are you alright, Runo?
I'm not entirely sure, but there's one thing I'm sure about. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. Well, yeah, it would be like, oh, she's not the only one, because we were already in a pickle to begin with. So, there's only up from here. So now, time for some clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions posed by his lordship. I'm going to save. Because I have a feeling if I do not, we will deal with issues. A rat. Really? It has opposable thumbs now? If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where that person could have fired the weapon. Oh boy.
Take that!
The defense believes that the culprit could have shot the victim from this this location here. And in answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time?
Take that!
I think. The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom. Continue. Mr. Windybank died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death, which tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the critical point is, where was the shooter where the fatal bullet was fired?
So you are adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom?
Well, according to the Skulkin brothers' earlier testimony,
I pulled my weapon on him, and then he legged it through that door into the back room.
if Mr. Windybank ran away through the door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time.
Oh!
It was at precisely that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life that the brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome.
Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial?
Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. Jotaro, punch first questions eventually. That's a very random fact. It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Yeah, so like, it went up. So, because of where Mr. Windybank is, it went like this. So instead of traveling this way, it went up. Kind of. I don't know. All I know is that it went down lower on the body and entered further up in the body. So where it is on his back right now, wherever the frick the picture is, there it is. So it apparently entered like lower in the body and went higher. Apparently. Bum 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 bum.
Man, Shamali was running as fast as he could to safety.
Of course. He would have been leaning forward as he was running away. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would have entered his body in an upward trajectory. Blech.
So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Windybank.
Objection!
Oh boy. I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key into the lock? What do you mean? She has no arms. But what if someone else locked the door? Yes, there is someone else who could have locked the storeroom door. Is that so?
Very well then, counsel. Present your hypothesis to the court. In the scenario just described, the defense assertion is that the victim was shot from outside the storeroom. In which case, who shot and locked the storeroom door from the inside?
Take that!
No. No. Because obviously, she's not Cookie, so no. Oh, is that what the connection is? Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Letstrade.
Objection!
That's absurd. You're suggesting that the accused deliberately entered the sealed room? For what possible reason? Such actions would only serve to tighten the noose around her neck.
If I'm inclined to agree, I must say, well, counsel,
Yes, that's a tricky one, that, isn't it?
half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please.
Of course Ginny would have locked the door.
Goodness.
But of course Ginny would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it?
It does?
Well, if I was Ginny in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could.
Golly. Ew.
I mean, those two burglars had just fired a weapon in her direction, hadn't they?
Oh yes, obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Miss Letstrade and Mr. Windybank were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at that time, but at some point, Mr. Windybank must have heard the intruders breaking into a shop and left the storeroom. Intruders, eh? That's us, bro. What the frick? I guess Small Ren is just gonna have to stay on vacation. I won't have her appear for a while, since obviously this is what the treatment she gets. If your theory is correct, that would have leave the accused alone in the storeroom. Yes, it would. Then, probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom door, hoping to escape danger. Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Windybank fell to the floor where he was, just inside the storeroom. Oh boy, it's okay. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment?
I see where you're going with this.
Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Windybank. As soon as that thought struck Miss Letstrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it, in order to save her own life. What do you mean? If she felt she was in danger, that's a completely normal reaction to do, is to hide. And if she was holding the weapon in her hand, it was to protect herself if they broke through the door.
But I mean, we ain't the ones who done it.
We ain't, Gov. We ain't. You gotta believe us. I mean, come on. We never shoot no one.
Objection!
That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would. Because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Herlock Shlomes. What do you mean? She hasn't even done anything. How does that even relate? Golly. Well, you have to remember, I think Gina is... She's 17 years old. And who kn- like, that's scary. There is only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Windybank's murder. Well, if someone that was tall, like someone like Mr. Windybank, got taken down by these guys, wouldn't you be scared? Where does this leave us? You mean to say it wasn't the pickpocket who shot the pawnbroker after him?
Should have known it was those three brothers. They look as shady as a dense forest. That's was amazing, Bruno. All the members of the jury seem to be firmly on your side now.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know if she had a mom, so we're not even gonna get into that, because she's an orphan. I know, first time ever, and probably the last.
Well, they keep done it. Surely they have to give a verdict if not.
Oh no, he's laughing. That's not good. An admirable effort, my learned friend. Oh no. What's this now? He's laughing. I feel like I'm looking at Edgeworth now. This feels more like Edgeworth than ever.
Find the situation amusing, Lord Van Zeeks. I myself find the defense's argument most persuasive.
And there goes another drink. I dare say. Such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation. But such blatantly malicious conjecturing tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pettifoggery here. Golly. Okay, well, the context of the conversation felt like you were talking about Gina. What? The hypothesis you put forward was so ostensibly, credibly cannot and will not stand. Because, you see, it contains a fatal flaw. What's the flaw? A fatal flaw? Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your logic's failing? Oh boy. I say, Lord Van Zeeks, might be an idea to explain this poly conjecture, your tricks or whatever it is to those troops on the ground, Fatal flaw in my lunch friend's argument is really very simple to understand. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets. Well, we got one on the wall. Like, we got one on the wall. And I'm assuming we have one from, Windy Bank. Is there, like... Now is there, like, an extra that I have missed? Oh. Well, because if the Skulkin brothers shot at Herlock, there's only one round. So Shalom's was hit with this, and this one was a single time too. So the question then becomes, because there's only one bullet missing. I think I get it now. By George, counting bullets.
Oh dear. You noticed then?
And you didn't tell Ryunosuke why? Huh? What's everyone talking about? Ryunosuke, I know I'm inside your head, but can you keep up with me? I don't think it was, I don't know, did it say one round? I thought it was just saying that it was shot once. Yeah, there are signs of one thing, and that there are signs that a single round, like, I guess, is it like the whole thing is what it's saying? But I thought it's only talking about one. My gosh. What do you mean Ryunosuke? It's Van Zeeks. Counsel? Yes, sir? Tell the court how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime? 2. 2 bullets. Correct. The first, that which had hit the victim in the back, ending his life. And it's only saying that it was... And it's only... That's what I was assuming it meant, too, was that it was only once. Because it doesn't look like a weapon that shoots multiple bullets at once. Because then it would have a bigger chamber then. And the second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, on his arrival at the scene.
Indeed. The defense presented a picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet earlier in the proceedings.
Holy moly.
Oh, at which injured Mr. Sholmes appears to have passed through his body to strike the calendar.
Which it makes Herlock look tall. Yeah, I don't think so either, because like I said, the chamber would be bigger. Assuming if you're trying to hit if it would be hitting at once. All at once, so like 5 or 6 of them. It's okay. It's okay.
Your lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Windybank, and the Skulkin brothers' revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each weapon.
Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each.
Now then, my learned friend. You yourself told the court only moments ago that these 2 brothers shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes right before your eyes.
Yes, I did.
Oh my goodness, I think you'll find.
That if the single bullet that was fired from the brothers' weapon hit Mr. Sholmes, it means... Windybank, not shot by same weapon. Stop. Only 1 bullet. Stop. Exactly. Yes, this Nipponese street performer presented an
Oh my goodness, why the O's?
ostensibly credible argument, however, was never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny.
Scrutiny. Ugh. Ah!
Well,
Order, order, order!
Why did you throw it? Was it empty? So he was like, I'm done? Here, someone take it. Alright then. That's not how that goes. Golly. Goodness gracious. Alright, I gotta go grab something real quick, so I'll be right back and we'll continue this. So hang on 1 second. Alright. I'm back. Whoop. I went, But, you're not good, though. He won't get another bottle. Yeah, who knows? I think Godot was storing them in his pockets. Or at least underneath the frickin' prosecution bench. It's gotta be. I don't know where else he would keep all of them. He destroyed so many cups in so little time. Anyway.
Lord Van Seeks!
Golly.
But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Gina Letstrade, is no ordinary little girl.
Yeah.
No ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can regrettably no longer be described as a juvenile.
She's 17. What do you mean? How is she not considered a juvenile? She can barely take care of herself. So how is she not a juvenile? I need to know. What the frick is he spouting now?
No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She has a past riddled with criminal conduct.
Old rules? Yeah, but between pickpocketing and murder is a big jump. Like, that is a huge jump. Yeah, she's had criminal conduct. I'm not saying that she hasn't. But golly, why would she resort to that if it would come back to bite her in the butt that quickly?
Oh boy. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question with some loathsome intent.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't know for a fact. Just because she had a weapon in her hand doesn't prove anything.
As we can see beyond doubt in this print which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. And I have here in my possession one more piece of evidence that the prosecution wishes to present.
Wait a gosh darn minute. Is that the one from Magnus? The disc. I'll be taking that, whatever it is, of McGill's down to the yard, thank you very much. So it is Magnus's. No, don't! Don't give it to him! It's mine, that is, mine!
I'm sorry, miss, but anything belonging to McGill has to be taken in as evidence now.
What? He's just doing his job. He's not a traitor. If he put it into Scotland Yard, obviously they considered it important enough to be in the case. Yes, that music box disc. McGill's music box disc.
The very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Windybank, the accused attempted to make off with this article, which clearly does not belong to her. With none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but brutal force and brazen impudence.
Good gracious!
Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous.
This is not even me based on her age. You're going to tell me, for one music disc, she went all the way for this. You'd have to give a good frickin' reason why this disc is so important. That's all I'm gonna say. You'd have to prove that she would have a reason to want that. And yes, she is poor, but I don't think that's the only thing that she would do it, because frickin' Windybank wouldn't take it for a lot of money.
There's no depth to which this girl would not stoop. If pushed, no crime she would not commit.
What proof do you have that she has done anything above pickpocketing? Pickpocketing is not murder. That has she shown aggression, like actual aggression. It's a music disc of some type. It was in Magnus's jacket when he committed the murder of thrice Mason. So, obviously it's important enough that Magnus kept it in his pocket But Windy Bank, a pawnbroker, didn't see any value in it, so there's many questions on that.
The court forgets the fact at its peril.
I see. I think it would be prudent to take this music box disc into evidence, counsel. As a grim testament to the defender's something.
Hang on, I need to read.
Grim testament to the defender's character.
Hold it.
Hold it. Lord Van Zeek's
Inspector Gregson, what?
Yes, Inspector?
We had a meeting yesterday at the yard with the prosecution service and, I think it was agreed that the disc wouldn't be used as evidence. Huh. Then a song from McGill to Gina. I don't know how that would work if it was in his pocket previously before he committed the murder. Obviously, if you remember the, omnibus. It was in the, omnibus. Where am I going? What this? And it was on the gloved finger. That's the biggest question. It's not an impossibility. There might be something very important on that disc. What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? That's the first time he said anything to Van Zeeks at all.
I'm unaware of any such meeting.
But those were in the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent.
Huh. Why is the government involved with this disc? Why do they not want this disc to be seen by the public so bad? What did Magnus do?
Inspector, I am the prosecutor, and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you.
Huh.
Prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord.
Not to decide that it is important even if the... Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, what is on this disc? Must have bribed or blackmailed officials? That is a possibility, but he's not alive anymore, so I don't know what it would do. So unless there's something huge enough of some big secret on here, this disc. Because you guys also have to remember that there was someone else who wanted the disc. Egbert Benedict, which we don't even know if that's his real name, he was someone who wanted the disc as well. Even if he's dead, the evidence that is true. Rick Astley's famous rickroll. Well, Rick Astley was not alive yet. I don't think he was a blip in time.
Indeed, bailiff.
The music disc has been entered into the court record. Metal disc used to play music in a mechanical music box. On the reverse side is a note that reads, "Form a guild." Is that what... I wonder, did Three Thrice Mason make this music disc? I wonder. Because he was in debt to Magnus. Did Magnus make him forge this music disc? Because that's my... I just thought about now. That could be a possibility. Since, he was a metal worker? Or he was a brick worker. So who knows? He was around heat that he could melt something.
The prosecution has established the accused's motive, opportunity, and baseness of character. There's nothing more to add.
Oh, wait. Wow, the Magnus is one of the original trolls. Which I guess would fit, wouldn't it?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and rest my case.
Oh boy, we got to 4-2, and we're back on the receiving end again. I don't believe it. I had the jury on my side for once, for all 5 minutes.
dear. It wasn't even for 5 minutes, Bruno.
Stop reading his mind, Iris. My lord, what? Who's saying? Oh.
My lord, I wonder if I might say something at this point.
Proceed, Mr. Foreman.
I'm stumbling about in a bit of a fog up till now, if truth be told, but all of a sudden, the answer bally obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for it.
Oh no.
Very well, the court will hear from the jury.
Golly.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will present your leanings as to the defendant's capability.
That is to try stuff. Oh my.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Oh boy.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Wow, I had
Guilty.
4 on my side.
Guilty.
I had 4. Now we got all 5 over there. Great. This jury system sucks. This particular jury system sucks.
We have a consensus among the jury, it seems.
When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
Well, yeah, because he is a surgeon, so I guess as what was said last time, he's keeping his hands clean.
That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. Huh, how dare he use it against us?
Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more to this case than we realize. There must be, because there's one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windybank. That's beyond any doubt.
Very well. We will proceed with the second summonation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, are you and the other jurors ready?
Khabib, squadron is primed and ready for action, sir.
Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on which grounds you now have determined that the defendant to be guilty.
Okay. Judicial findings. Part 2. The jurors' contents.
Once a rogue, always a rogue, I'd say. Different breeds to us law-abiding citizens.
Well, this might be a sore spot for you, but your wife was a law-abiding citizen, and she is imprisoned right now because she didn't abide by the law and hit you with a... threw a knife at you and ended up in a poor lady's back. So, what do you mean law-abiding citizens?
There's only 2 bullets are found at the scene. I would say the whole case is done and dusted. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket. I never imagined that simply operating would cost me such grief.
The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I can see why. I can see I'm in for a busy day ahead.
I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about weapons. But why I don't... Not to mention the tea. That too. I don't know. That depends on you.
It would seem there is little remaining room for doubt.
I have to admit I was rather bowled over by the argument put forward by the chap in black. But when that fell apart like a house of cards, I saw that I'd jolly well be hoodwinked. I saw that I'd jolly well been hoodwinked. Well, no more.
Ugh. The whole courtroom is turning against me. Yeah, I guess. I guess so. Well, they love each other, which is nice that he's still with her, and they talk to each other. You know, obviously, if all they had to do was to literally just talk to each other, then she wouldn't have ended up in the situation she was.
It's not fair.
Iris?
That prosecutor's being mean. Just because Jeannie's done something she shouldn't have done in the past, that doesn't make her a murderer.
That is true.
Allow me to savor this fruity vintage while I savor the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter.
Oh, I'm gonna assume that bottle and that glass of wine are gonna disappear really fast.
Here's to the truth coming out, eventually.
Oh boy.
That's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summontation examination.
Okay, we got our game face on. Yes, my lord. Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal. Oh boy. This is gonna be fun.
Hold it!
Just because Miss Letstrade has a history of pickpocketing, she must be guilty of murder. Is that what you were saying?
Oh, well.
Are all members of the British Army so quick to judge?
I beg your pardon? Are you mocking Her Majesty's Armed Forces, the greatest military organization in the world?
No, I'm simply illustrating my point. Making assumptions about people because they're a soldier or a pickpocket is wrong and dangerous.
Well, yes, might have a point there, I suppose. But let's not forget the girl had already shown she had it in her from before. She's clearly a criminal sort, through and through. Can't deny it.
When you say that she'd shown she had it in her, are you referring to this?
Exactly. I tried to swipe that only a day earlier. Am I mistaken?
Not exactly. Given that I was actually there at the time, it's hard to refute that. She didn't take it. She had the ticket, and she gave it. Just because a guy named Eggs Benedict said that he was the one, he actually didn't fit the jacket. So what do you mean?
I've never actually seen the real thing, and I can't wait to have a closer look at it.
Oh yeah, I should look at that. Oh yes, of course. Mr. Shaloms did use his caramel bars to make a copy of the disc, didn't he? I forgot about that. And then ordered every type of music box he could find from across Europe. Oh boy.
We still don't know what tune it plays, though, do we? But I'd love to see how the original compares to Hurley's copy.
McGill's disc. Could it be a clue somehow? Perhaps we should examine it in more detail. Yeah, I kind of forgot he literally used caramel bars to make an imprint of the frickin' thing. It's like, wow. Give me 1 second, maid. I'm going to look at this music disc. Well, I know there's blood on it. Oh yeah, I gotta move. Hang on, Iris. There we go.
Oh, Runa, look! This is blood.
Yes, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before.
Aha! Then it's time to my time to shine again. I thought I'd be waiting forever. Alright, hold still with that disc, Bruno.
Can we get this done quickly, Iris? I love that I'm just imagining the judge staring at Iris being like, what the frick is that? That's ketchup? Maybe. There's a possibility.
In a flash.
Ugh. Hope you had your eyes closed, Renosuke. Green. Wait. Green? Wasn't Hurley's green? Herlock, golly, Iris's wave speaking is spreading.
Ah, a lovely bright shade again.
Wait, that color.
What is it?
It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that color, is it?
Fort McGill. That's the man you defended in court a couple of months ago, isn't it, Bruno?
Yes, or rather, mistakenly defended.
I wonder what's his name. I wonder what his name is doing on the back of this disc.
That's a question I'd love to know the answer to myself. Oh, and I can go back to where I was. Because I just thought about it. Isn't that assumingly... Yeah, because thrice-fired Mason is purple. This is assumingly Herlock's blood. So why is Herlock's blood on the disc? Why would his blood be on... How did that happen? Because Wendy Banks is blue. That's weird.
Hold it!
Weird. It's the number of bullets that has you convinced.
Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 weapons that fired them have been examined by the police.
Blood chocolate? You mean caramel? Caramel or caramel, either way you want to say it.
When the parlor maids ask me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings.
Well, that's logical, I suppose.
Although,
Yes.
sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china.
Does your employer dine with thieves?
So I suppose if there was another bullet somewhere, of which we're unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position.
A third bullet somewhere on the scene? Could that be possible? Unfortunately, only 2 bullets were discovered by the police during their investigation.
Yes, I know.
Right.
I don't imagine the good men of Scotland Yard would have overlooked anything. If I missed a bullet while I was cleaning his lordship's office, well, I should receive a sound scolding, I don't doubt.
And he should receive a visit from the police, perhaps. Sounds like a crime scene to me.
A 3rd bullet.
It would completely turn things around if there was one, wouldn't it?
Do you think we might find one lying around somewhere?
I don't know. But obviously that's important.
Hold it!
So if I understood correctly, you need 2 pictures. A left eye one, and a slightly different right eye one.
Exactly. Then you can see the scenes in 3 dimensions. Like this.
So, if we have 2 bullets, I don't suppose you can see anything useful with them?
I think you'll find that no matter how much you squint, the truth of the situation always looks the same here.
The only person who could have shot the victim is that girl in the dock. How can you be so sure of that?
Think about it. The Skulkin brothers shot the great detective, didn't they?
Yes, that's been mentioned once or twice.
Well, then, surely it's coming into focus now, isn't it?
This is a waste of time. I'm not going to change this man's mind anytime soon. Okay, so it's the maid. Yeah, I checked before. It's only 1 missing to my understanding. And I don't even know if it's, as you said, I think the police took away the rest of the ammo.
Hold it!
Because if it's being shown around in court, you don't want to accidentally trigger it, you know? Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here.
Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that it's nothing to do with this trial, to be honest.
Huh?
I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach.
What?
It's quite inexplicable, don't you think?
Wait. Oh, so from last time, hello. We thought that the bullet... Well, we thought the scalpel was left inside. So... Why were you stressed? Don't be stressed. Anyway, as I was saying, last time we were worried about Herlock having a poor scalpel locked inside his system. Like, sewed in by accident? But yeah, he got shot at.
I had to do a resume. Yeah, those are always fun. I hope it went well. It helps you find some jobs. So I just thought to myself, so is the blood that we're seeing not actually Herlock's blood? I'm very curious to know if that's the case or not. So the green might not actually be Herlock. I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering about all this time, you were operating on...
What was the fellow's name now? Her Lynch? No, her launch? No, Hairlock?
Yeah, I think it might be someone else's blood. Herlock Schloms by any chance? Yeah. Because if you look, like if I show again, we got an unknown person with green blood on the disc, and we have green on the calendar. So we thought it was Herlock's this whole time. It might be someone else's.
Yes, good lord. It was that Hairlock fellow.
What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Sloane's?
That's right, using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It's fairly major op, I can tell you.
This is crazy.
Let me see, the fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly.
It's possible. We haven't seen him in the case so far, so he's gotta pop up again.
They said he'd been shot by some criminal or other, so I opened him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with a fine-tooth comb, couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw up my hands and just stitch the fellow back up.
I hate to state the obvious, but...
Yes?
surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting.
Counsel for the defense is correct,
Golly.
as it is clearly shown in this photographic print.
The bullet that the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Sloane's hit him in the stomach region, then exited his body and lodged into the shopping wall where the calendar's hanging by the door. Now that I think about it, it hit him in the stomach. How did it ricochet that far high? Because the calendar is not low on the wall. So it had to have gone really high. That's why I'm wondering, it hit him in the stomach. So I think that they missed a bullet that's on the floor somewhere in Windy Banks. I think you'll find it really quite simple if you just consider the problem third-dimensionally.
Who do you think I am, son?
Well, Junior, juror number 4 is the best I can do.
As soon as I saw the wound to the man's stomach, I flipped him over.
Like a pancake? Are you saying that you checked his back?
Of course I did, and there wasn't a trace of injury. No sign that the bullet had left the body at all.
What? Huh. Okay, now I'm confused. Wait, so you're saying he is injured. He was injured in the stomach, but he couldn't find a bullet, and there was no trace of the bullet leaving the body of Herlock. So when he was operating on Herlock, he couldn't find an exit wound, and he couldn't find the bullet in the body. So where the frick did this go? What?
That's the point. The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somewhere in the man's innards, which is exactly why I said about slicing him up. I'm still none the wiser even now. How many times do I have to say it?
But then where would all the blood come from, though? Because there is a giant amount of blood. Like, if it did, that is a lot of blood that it took with it. That's the weird part. We're also assuming that it might have barely missed him.
Like, it probably hit his stomach, so it did hurt. But if we're assuming that Benedict was shot at, like, this is my theory, that maybe Windy Bank shot at them, at the Skulkin brothers, or Benedict, or whoever, and that hit higher up. Because the stomach is very low on the body, and that trajectory could not reach that high. So, it might be on the floor.
Can someone please explain how it happened? Can someone please solve the mystery?
It's almost as much of a mystery as how this jury was put together. The accused attempted a theft. Okay, I want to talk to juror number 5.
Hold it!
I thought you were just a tourist. Good day. I'm visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take a bus to Crystal Tower, please. There's no way he's just visiting tourist. So, you're a ballistics expert? Who knew? I don't think x-rays have been invented. There's barely color. There's barely colored photographs. So I don't know how they would get to x-rays. I have much experience with weapons. Ah. I have lived through many. How do you say? Extreme. Violent. Death of. No. Blood of.
Extreme violent bloodbaths, perhaps?
What the frick? Those extreme violent bloodbaths. English is very difficult tongue. Considering the sort of people you associate with, I'm surprised you still have it. Anyway, if you have questions about bullets and weapons, you ask me. There is nothing I do not know. No mystery I cannot solve. Yeah, she said it with a complete straight face and been like, yep, this is what he meant. He's very confident in his knowledge of weapons, that's for sure. But if possible, please only in Russian language.
He's not very confident in his knowledge of English, though, is he?
No, still, we should bear it in mind. He's our man if there's a mystery about weapons or bullets. Well, I do have a mystery for him. Van Zinks has managed to convince everyone.
When you have eliminated the impossible, he said. But he hasn't.
If we're going to fight back, we need more material. And we have to fight back. We have to turn this trial around again. Alright, I want to save, please. Thank you. So we're gonna pin juror number 4 and 6 against each other. What is it? Arm.
Objection!
These two statements clearly contradict. The idea that all I do is to pit jurors against each other.
Oh, a ballistics expert.
Pitting. P-I-T-T. On the night in question, Mr. Shloms was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers. But since there was no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume that the bullet did not pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Shloms' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Shloms was shot. Juror number 6. Hello, my name is Vin. Pleased to meet you. This apparent contradiction in the facts that is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery? I have seen very similar situation in Motherland. Oh! It was night. There was blizzard. I was running away alongside road in freezing cold.
Golly!
The snow was piling high on both sides of the road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles and were on dog sleds. Mental note, don't ask too many questions. I was shot from behind and I fell down in snow. And this situation was very similar to what I hear today from Doctor. They could not find bullet in my body. And no sign of, how do you say? exit one. Oh, yeah, it is the same.
Then where did the bullet go?
Bullet never hit me.
If it never hit you, why did you fall down?
Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very close to my side. What? One small piece, very sharp, broke away from lump of ice and pierced my body. Oh! So yeah, like you said, it barely missed him and it hit something else. The disc? You think it was the disc? Oh yeah, it was in his pocket, wasn't it? It made a deep wound that looked just like Bullet's wound.
Good gracious.
Of course, piece of ice quickly melted inside me. And this solution is to mysterious disappearing Bullet.
But that doesn't answer the question at all.
Hmm?
The shooting happened in a pawnbroker shop. Not some snowy mountain road in another country.
Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here. And ice well, he did buy a disc. Yeah.
Bruno, where exactly was Hurley shot again?
Well, according to the report, in his stomach. Sort of around this area, I think.
Well, that's precisely where he always wears a little pouch on his belt.
Oh! A pouch. Actually, I might have noticed something like that.
Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps 3 glass vials of very dangerous chemicals that he uses in his investigations. Why would he put those in his pouch?
Kerlock! So it could have been frickin' worse! What? Really? Doctor, where is the pouch Mr. Slomes was wearing?
Well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital, as far as I remember.
If I may.
Lord Van Zeeks?
While I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summontation examination, I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom.
Sorry?
As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Slomes injured,
He's had one. What do you mean? It's been there.
they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound.
Thank goodness, I thought I was getting forgetful for a moment.
Well, it makes sense. You wanted to get it out of the way to make sure he was to, patch up the wound the best you can before you could get him to a hospital. Yes, he did. But then he brought another one out. To get all the jurors on his side for us to get a guilty verdict. So I think you missed it.
Since then, it's been in my safekeeping along with all other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred.
Yeah, that's why I think it's underneath the prosecution's bench.
Very well, extremely unconventional during its summontation examination. I must demand the prosecution presents the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Mr. Herlock Schlom's pouch. I see.
Oh, that thing! That's what you call a pouch? I guess. I wouldn't think of that as a pouch, but sure.
So is this the pouch worn by Mr. Slomes on the night in question, is it?
Look at that. One of the vials is broken and the leather around it is scorched black. What the frick did he have in there? It's almost as if the vial exploded. I wouldn't call it a pouch, I would more call it like a pocket. I don't know what to call it. What would I call it? An attachment?
Exploded.
So, that night, the bullet from the Skulkin brothers' weapon struck Mr. Slomes' pouch.
It was the glass fire exploding that caused the fellow's injury.
This bullet did not penetrate the victim, but was deflected into wall of shop. A delightful complex aroma.
Well, it would appear one mystery has been solved at least.
Though it has no bearing on the truth of this case. The bungling and burgling brothers shot the detective and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered. Ugh.
But at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. Thank you, young man.
Duh. Thank you very much. Glad I could help.
Due to its bearing on the conundrum just solved, the court will sequester the scruffy pouch as evidence.
Oh, this pouch isn't scruffy.
Sloane's pouch has been entered in the court record. The pouch Mr. Sloanes is wearing around his waist at the time of the shooting. One of the glass vials is smashed and there are scorch marks around it. Well, yes. He's a revolutionary, did you not know? He's from the second case.
Now the summation examination. It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion.
Please, my lord. A little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue, and you can't afford to overlook anything here, Ryunosuke. There's still a way to turn this around. Somehow. I'm sure of it. Well, I know juror number 3 is not important. And I don't think juror number 1, so it's got... I guess we'll go to 5. In that case, if him is such a funny man. He wasn't physically there. He was in the newspaper. We've never met him actually. Till now. We've known about him since case 2. This is the first time we've seen him in person. I guess that's to be more specific. So that's the specifics of that. So this is the first time meeting him. We knew about him. Yeah, you know the case, the second case, Kazuma, the boat, the Russian ballerina.
Hold it!
Does that, remember, on the back of the newspaper? The revolutionary, that's him. That's how he's connected to everything. So yeah, that's his connection. Not like a big connection, but a connection nonetheless. What do you mean you're in for a busy day?
Forgot to say stop. Do excuse me, stop. I am a communications officer. Stop.
Communications officer? Does that have something to do with sending telegrams?
Everything from personal messages written by members of the public to the latest news in the capital.
Exceeded my expectations? Yep. It's all connected. All these characters have had connections in one way or another, which is very cool.
I convert all the messages into Morse code and tap it out to the entire world electronically.
To the entire world?
Thousands of miles of cable under the sea. Stop. Worldwide communication network. Stop. Information transmitted to and from all corners of the globe. Stop.
Ah, yes. She was getting equally worked up about radio waves or the like before, wasn't she?
I specialize in communication information from government departments and newspaper offices.
I see.
I'm sure I shall have to wire the newspaper reports of today's guilty verdict later. No sleep for me tonight, I imagine.
Let's just finish the trial first, shall we? Okay, nothing new. What the frick would we... So there's something important here, and I don't know what it... I don't think, because... You don't need that. Let me press again.
Hold it!
Only 2 were fired, the 2 weapons fired. Although, sometime, okay. So I suppose
Somewhere we're unaware. Okay, so yeah, Herlock's thing shows it. I can prove it. Allow me to show you then the third bullet.
Take that!
I'm assuming. Wait. Oh, wow. Thanks. Yeah, that becomes a question. I need to examine that. Nope, wrong one. Well, that is the question, because it has to come from a different weapon than what we are, because we have these two, and it only shows one. Wow, this has been scorched. Wow, it hit really low. It's really scorched badly here.
Oh, the strap is broken. Look.
This must be where the bullet hit then.
Let me see.
We found it! What the? Iris, look! I don't know. Find where the broken vial was. You see it?
The Skulkin Brothers' bullet.
What a stroke of luck that it hit his pouch. So, we were right. The Skulkin Brothers did shoot at Herlock. So then where did the freaking bullet that's in the wall come from? So that's the question. This is amazing discovery. What this means is there were 3 bullets fired at Windy Banks that night.
You found exactly what that juror was talking about. The third bullet.
It's time to press that juror again, I think. Yay! Projectile we discovered lodged in Sloane's pouch. It caused one of the vials to explode, injuring Mr. Sloane's. Like, wow. But the question becomes, when? When did it happen?
Hold it!
When did it happen? Alright, blah 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 blah. Yes, I do. I have the other one. I found it. I can prove it. I have it right here. Okay, allow me to show you, then, the third bullet.
Take that!
Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes, on the night in question in Mindy Bank's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired.
Hold it!
What is this new trickery, you Nipponese conjurer? Where did you find that bullet?
It was lodged inside Mr. Sloane's pouch. What? This pouch was removed from Mr. Sloane's waist before he was taken to the hospital. And since then, it's been touched by no one.
Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Skulkin Brothers that night?
Yes, as your lordship has surmised, it hit this pouch.
But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Sloane's. It's clearly visible in this photographic print.
Oh. 2 weapons from the scene have already been submitted into the court record as evidence.
Yes, that of Mr. Windybanks and that belonging to the Skulkin Brothers.
An examination of both weapons revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each.
Oh. But that must be...
That's right. We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the scene. And until the incontrovertible inconsistencies is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment. Haha! Oh! Wow, we made, Van Z's go, wow.
Order! 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 While the summatation examination remains incomplete, this court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which this case against the defendant has been built.
I think he was just in shock that he overlooked such an oversight.
As is my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summatation examination.
By Jupiter.
What?
Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once.
Wow, that's never happened before.
Witnesses,
Governor?
were you listening to proceedings while the defense carried out the summatation examination?
Yep, it continues again. We was, Governor, we was.
Perhaps we can dispense with the tedious preamble. Simply answer this one question.
Season 7, golly.
The third bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that?
Make of it, Gov? I don't make nothing of nothing, if I can help it.
Is it one of yours?
Gore blimey, Gov. Gore blimey, not a chance. In that case,
Do you have an accomplice?
what? Never! The Skulkin brothers work alone.
It's just the two of us. That's our trademark.
Wait. But they said that they thought Gregson was their lost brother. Is Benedict the brother of the Skulkin brothers? Is he the third? How soon we forget poor Skulky.
Only 2 of the bullets from the crime scene originated from the firearms we have in evidence. The third bullet was fired from another weapon. Where is it?
Blimey, that's it. It's Scratcher.
Counsel for the defense,
Yes?
I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these new developments. The third bullet and the mysterious missing firearm from whence it came.
Thinking back over all the testimony we've heard and all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear what this third bullet tells us about the Skulkin brothers. Well, it's either 1 or 2. But they were searched immediately after they were apprehended. So it's gotta be this. On that night at Windybank's pawnbrokery, the brothers must have been working with a third man. The witnesses are clearly doing their best to cover up the existence of this accomplice. But the evidence all points to the fact that there was someone else present, someone carrying a weapon.
Objection!
Well, especially at the way that they act around Gregson. It feels that way.
An accomplice, you say? Higgs will. These protracted proceedings have already forced us to endure 2 summatation examinations. Yet in all that time, there has been not a murmur of a third man. If this apparently wraith-like being exists.
There's, I think the 3rd or 4th cup today. In the trial.
The court must be shown hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed.
Ugh.
Prosecution demands an answer on 2 accounts. First, proof, evidence that this accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime. Secondly, the identity of this spurious character.
The Skulkins are lying, I know that. But how can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding?
Well, counsel,
I'm supposed to prove the existence of this accomplice and reveal the person's identity, even. In response to the prosecution's demands, my lord, the defense is... I'm assuming I have to present answers. I don't know what the answers are, but we'll figure it out. I get... Nothing. I have a cough drop. Because allergies suck and I can't do these different voices unless my throat wants to die. So... The defense is ready. I believe I can provide all the answers the prosecution demands.
So, my Nipponese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promises to be interesting.
I have to push forward now. There's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me if it will make a difference. Okay, and that...
Case counsel, I would like you to present the evidence without delay. On the night in question, in the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof have you that there was a third intruder present at the scene?
Take that!
This is my guess. The evidence is right here, in this portfolio.
By Jove, that portfolio again, is it?
Do you expect the court to rifle through papers itself? Be more specific. You claim one of those blood samples proves the presence of a third intruder, but which one is it?
Take that!
Is it this other one?
What am I looking at here? There appears to be some green paint or such like around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar.
That's a bloodstain, my lord.
A blood stain?
Green blood? Curious even for you. Is the court to understand that the intruder was some unhuman creature?
I don't know. It's something developed by Herlock Sholmes. By the great detective!
New invention, stop. Not yet appeared in stories, stop.
It's this, you see. It doesn't have a name yet, though. This father spray is a chemical that reacts with the different elements of people's blood to change its color.
Different elements.
Of people's blood?
Yes, everyone's blood is slightly different, you see, because it's made up of different elements.
Hello. Hello, hello.
So by seeing what color it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is. Oh, that brings a whole extra dimension to looking at blood.
Tug of blood in court, stop. Very exciting, stop.
Hello. We're just getting to the best part, so you came just in time. An example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Windybank. It's okay, things happen.
It's striking blue.
Yeah, so you see the green color of this bloodstain on the calendar shows that someone else was shot in the main part of the shop.
Now hold fire there, young man. Could it be from such unrelated incident, could it?
No, it's not unrelated. The date shows on the calendar. It is the date on which Mr. Windybank was killed.
By golly.
I'm trying to make you feel better, man. Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot on the same day.
Then whose blood is it?
Well, Skulkin brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any injuries. Which means it must be the blood of someone else, the third intruder, in fact.
Objection!
Whose identity the court is still waiting to hear. You can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Who is this alleged third intruder?
I think it's Benedict. I think. I could be wrong, but let's pretend.
Take that!
The man's name is Egbert Benedict.
Egbert Benedict, who on earth are you talking about, counsel?
He paid a visit to Windybank's pawnbrokery on the afternoon before the incident took place.
When the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing this article into her possession. That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Egbert Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force. Broker?
Yes, sir.
I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no? We're not at the climax yet. Technically, we are getting close. Yes, sir. The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once.
Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull?
Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. Needless to say. Any music box discs, too. Inspector Gregson was there at the time and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc.
Can you corroborate this account, Inspector?
Yes, my lord. That's more or less what happened. And in the interest of being thorough, I asked Minty for a print showing the fellow. Oh! Taken from one of his red-handed recorder governesses. Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Windybank that morning.
And you claim this man is the brother's accomplice?
Well, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin?
Never seen the geezer before in me life.
On me life, Gov, on me life. Never seen him.
Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion.
I'm sure your lordship recalls my Lord Nipponese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice. Yes, I can.
Then show us the evidence. I agree. We must see proof that the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is the filthy criminal you say he is.
Which is the disc. It's gotta be the disc. This is the last piece of evidence. I've had a feeling that something has been missing in this trial from the very start. But now, I'm going to drag it kicking and screaming into the courtroom.
Are you ready to present your answer to the court then, counsel?
Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. The proof that the man pictured in this photograph print was in fact the person struck by the third bullet. Hello!
Take that!
As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defendant attempted, deceitfully, admittedly, to reclaim this disc from Windybanks.
Which is when the aforementioned Egbert Benedict appeared on the scene, I believe. This man then attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's possession, no?
That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time. It was followed by this, that a minor incident occurred. What happened?
But of course, sir, here's the disc for you.
Very well. Oh, Are you talking about the jacket breaking? Then I shall bid you farewell, say goodbye to style. No, and I don't know if I was singing before, but I guess thank you?
Wait a minute, that disc. It's mine.
Oh yeah, they had a confrontation. I forgot about that. Oh, that. Well, I remember. I sometimes just randomly sing sometimes when I was annoyed. But yeah. What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal. Oh yeah. I thought that was from Magnus. Wow. Pieces are coming together. Being a music box disc, it has countless small but sharp metal protrusions over its surface. More in your streams. Well, it just happens on its own, and I'm not exactly that confident in my singing voice. And that would be a whole thing on its own. Bum, 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 bum.
But thank you. Thank you, thank you. Those protrusions caused Mr. Benedict's finger to bleed. Karaoke stream when? Probably... when we hit a big milestone of some type. Like maybe 500 or 1,000. Maybe even 800. Something like that. You know, something just a big goal. Because I'd have to figure out how to do that. Because karaoke streams are very difficult to set up. And I would have to figure that out. 1K sub karaoke stream. Yeah, that would be... yeah. That'd be realistic. That's a good goal to strive for. And the resulting smear of blood is still visible on the disc now. Something... wow. To make more... no, don't do that. Don't do that. I want to get it genuinely. You don't... why do we need... you don't need more counts. Golly. Don't be a papyrus right now.
Goodness, a bloodstain is it?
My assistant and I have just analyzed the bloodstain here in this very courtroom. Did I say 300? I thought it was... I guess we could probably have it at one point. Maybe in the new year. Maybe. It's seen the Pokemon theme. Oh boy.
Using my trusted fogger weapon.
I would have to literally go back to that one of the streams and read what I said. It might be 300. I thought it was 500. Who knows? I don't remember anymore. Yes, we added the results to this portfolio.
I'd say.
It's green.
It's the exact same color as the blood around the calendar.
The evidence is conclusive. The man calling himself Mr. Egbert Benedict, who was in the Windy Banks earlier in the day. Uh-huh. Just like I can trust the same people who made me for 10 minutes in Hollow Knight try to achieve something of jumping against a wall for at least 5 to 10 minutes. Uh-huh. Sure, that's very trusting. It's the accomplice who was present at the scene of the crime that night. So there was someone else there. Look at those two brothers now. They're sweating buckets. Ollie, who are you talking about? It's bullet in here. Skill issue? What do you mean? My lord, it's the opinion of the defense that Mr. Egbert Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify.
It would certainly seem that we can ill afford to ignore this gentleman's apparent presence.
Objection!
And what do you mean? I have done it before.
This has gone on long enough now. This flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law.
What do you mean? I proved my point, didn't I?
Herlock Sholmes, you say? Yes, I've heard the name. Protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes. A god of detection or some such.
What the frick does that mean, fansies? What does that mean? Which one is it? Is it this one? Yeah, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Is it wrong for people to the commoners to enjoy detective stories? It's rarer than you beating a boss at the first try. Which I have done. Thank you very much. But yeah, what does he mean by that? Excuse me. Let the commoners be able to enjoy reading. If they pay for the book and read it, leave it alone. I know, but he acts. I think it's in the It's in the newspaper. It's not like from my understanding, the story was put in the newspaper. Like it's in different. I think it comes into different chunks, kind of like the original Sherlock Holmes, where it was originally released in newspapers. in like a specific section of the newspaper or something. If I remember correctly.
And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fantastical persona in the highest court in the land?
Yeah, weekly thing. So, the stories get... Obviously, the story's planned out. We've seen the script. You know, like, we can see Iris' script, but it goes out weekly with a couple of pages, so...
Do you expect us to take you seriously? The samples made by this plaything are not fit to be called evidence. So the bloodstains turned a shade of green. What of it? Here's to you successfully proving that no other blood in the world could turn the same color.
Well... Oh, and there's the foot. Why?
And pray, do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Slum's word for it.
Ugh. Is he right? Is Mr. Slum's concocting a load of rubbish? I don't know, I mean, he is a great detective. What are you talking about? Can't let him get away with that. I knew it would come to this. Well, it means we're close. The best scene? What do you mean? I was gonna be like, golly, we don't want... But we... There's no wells, oh my gosh. Of course, Mr. Slum's invention isn't going to be recognized by any official body. But what other choices do I have?
I'm just remembering what Father Christmas over there said before.
Oh my god.
About how he was temporarily suspending the supplementation examination.
Ah.
In other words, the examination isn't over yet, is it?
Good grief, what did you just say, young girl?
And in a supplementation examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Hurley's invention. At least, not for now.
Yes, she's right.
Young lady, you have quite the devious mind.
What? She's playing into the law. The law is there, so she's not breaking the law. Yes, we did. Because you guys really wanted a frozen burglary.
It really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Runo. Is that about right, what you say? Or did I misunderstand something?
Unbelievable. Mr. Sloane's partner is a force to be reckoned with.
Iris Wilson, sharpshooter.
My gosh. Oh my gosh.
After that shredded press of the situation from an entirely unexpected source, it must be acknowledged that the previous supplementation examination has yet to reach its conclusion.
This is absurd.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for your final leanings on this matter.
Which is true.
As a proud citizens of Her Majesty Britain, I'm sure you've come to fair and just conclusions.
I'm ready.
So then, state your final decisions in turn, please.
Yeah, she's everything.
Not guilty.
Yes!
Not guilty.
Yes!
Guilty.
Really?
Guilty.
Not guilty.
4-2! Yeah! I'll take it. I'll take 4-2. We take those odds.
2 call guilty and the 4 call not guilty. Such is the outcome of the supplementation examination.
Objection.
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision.
What do you mean? But it's by the law, Van Zeeks. You wouldn't be trying to not listen to the rules of the law, would you? Huh, buddy? I thought you accepted the rules. Someone being a sore loser?
On what grounds?
If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretender to real police work, then they are too arrogant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt.
And they were apparently randomly picked out of all of the people in all of Britain. So, are you questioning the police's authority? Yes, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it because this guy's been on his frickin' high horse this entire time that we have been against him. He could be taken down a few pegs. Haha.
I'm sorry, Lord Van Zieks, but the outcome of the summontation examination cannot be ignored. This trial will continue.
Haha. I win so far. Few, yep. Yeah, it's like, hey, we followed the rules, so deal with it.
Nevertheless, we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense has very reasonably requested the subpoena of a new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible.
What? Why?
The name the gentleman gave for himself, Egbert Benedict, is quite clearly false.
That's what I assumed. I don't believe it. Just when I managed to prove the man was there that night. Why do we need to go 3 for examinations? Why?
Could I say something? Who is it?
Who is that, please? Who spoke?
It was me, my lord.
Juror number 5?
What have you to say, madam?
Yeah, obviously.
If possible, Inspector.
Eh? Me, madam?
I was wondering if you might show the photograph or print to me again, the one in which the gentleman is shown.
Oh, right, yes, this one you mean? Of Mr. Benedict?
No, he wasn't, He wasn't. I'm pretty positive he wasn't a juror. There was different jurors. Because we had the crazy knife guy, we had the one hat maker, we had a banker, we had the surgeon over here. And we had someone else. I can't remember. Other ones. I don't remember. He was just called juror number 2. Oh yeah, and the guy in the front. That I didn't remember the name.
Yes, there's no doubt in my mind.
Juror number 5, you don't mean to say. You know this man?
Yes, I know him.
What?
No. Good gracious!
Wow.
Order! 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 Juror number 5, how on earth?
I am a communications officer. Stop.
As we can clearly see.
The gentleman in the photograph is. Stop. Also a communications officer. Stop. He works in my office. Stop.
What?
A very talented operator, in fact. Stop. He should be in the communication station now. Stop. Tapping away on the telegraph. Stop.
That doesn't seem right somehow. I can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right.
I suppose we all imagine the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out that has a respectable job by day, whatever he gets up to at night.
Yes, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong.
If the gentleman is at London's communication station, we should be able to subpoena him within the hour. Lord Van Zieks, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Make the necessary arrangements with all haste.
As your lordship bids.
Yay! The court will recess for 1 hour. When the new witness arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the gentleman's testimony. Inspector Gregson.
Yes, my lord?
I should like to hear from you specifically about events at the pawnbrokery on the day in question. Come to my chambers during the recess.
Yes, sir, my lord.
Very well. Court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m.
Woo! To be continued. Right now. Almost at the 2-hour mark. That was pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. I've progressed. Yay! It only had made one mistake. I'm pretty proud of myself so far. 17th of April, 12:41 p.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. Well, have a good sleep. Thanks for stopping by. Gina, how are you holding up? Quiet as always. Starting to feel quite warmly towards her frequent cold shoulders now.
Ginny! Are you alright? Why aren't you saying anything?
What's the point, eh? Why'd you go to all this trouble and fighting so hard for the likes of me?
What?
Well, you saw it, that picture. What picture?
Oh, you mean this? The photograph taken by Hurley's red-handed recorder?
Well, there's many questions.
Well, I didn't think it would have captured a scene like that. That's for sure.
It's hopeless. Anyone who sees that's gonna think I did it, ain't they? Well, I won't pretend it wasn't a bit of a shock when the prosecution first presented it to the court. Surely you gotta have your doubts about me now? You still can't think I'm innocent? Of course I can.
Ginny, why don't you talk to us? Tell us what really happened that night. Bruno's cleverly managed to piece together a lot of new information, but still, we'd really like to hear it from you.
Alright then. Oh, we're finally gonna get more information? It was after we had that dinner together at your place, right, Iris? Then we had a chat up in your office, didn't we? Yes, I remember. Okay. Yes, she really is. After that, I just couldn't get to sleep. So I slipped out and went to the street to the 2-to-1 to Windybank's place. I had to know if Iris' story was there or not. If Iris' story was there or not? The Hound of the Bakersvilles? I don't know what it was or nothing. But if you ask me, there's something in that slums I don't like. Something we don't want people to be reading. So that's why you lied to Iris about sticking in, well, with Windybank for safekeeping. At least that's what I thought at the time. So you broke into Windybank's? I just had to know if it was there or not. I mean, I had no idea all that was gonna kick off, did I? No, I don't think you would have left if you knew that. Struck the lock and snuck inside. It was dark as you like in there. So I give the oil lamp on the counter a bit of a whack. That's when... What do you think you're doing? Ah! I nearly died, I did. Next thing I knew... I'd grabbed the weapon off the counter and was waving it in the air. Like I don't know what. Huh? Oh, you're the girl who was here this afternoon. I didn't think pickpockets went for armed robbery. The mental script. Have you got it here? Did Holmes leave a lot of papers with you? A story? I beg your pardon? The Hound of the something or other. If it here, I want to see it. I'm sorry, young lady, but I'd sooner die than relinquish an article belonging to one of my customers. So he wasn't aggressive towards her. He was shocked because someone was in there, but he saw her, and it was like, what are you doing here? I don't want it. What would I do with it anyways? I just want to see it here, that's all. Oh, you want to see it, do you? I want to know if Holmes really pawned it here or not. Please, just let me see it and I'll go. Oh, very well then. But for pity's sake, stop waving my weapon around, would you? So yeah, he was not scared of her at all. So then the old cove unlocked the storm door and we both went inside. And it was there, alright, the mental script. Holmes weren't lying after all.
You did all that just to check for me, Jenny?
Anyway, then there was a bit of a kick-up out in the main bit of the shop. Skulkin brothers arriving on the scene, yes? What was that noise? Someone breaking in. Dear me, is there some burglar convention here tonight that I don't know about? Oh, I love Windy Bank. I wish he was still around. He seems like a great guy. I think I forgot to shut the door behind me. Sorry. Better go and take care of it. Could I possibly have my weapon back? Oh, well, I'll come with ya then. Now, don't be foolish, young girl. You must stay right here. Don't leave this room under any circumstances. He was protecting her. He told her to stay there. Oh, why Wendy Bank have to die? He's so sweet. And with that, he took the weapon of my hands and walked out into the shop. I'm back in the storeroom, like he said, and straining my ears in the dark to hear what was going on. Sounded like they got into a bit of a scrap. Starting to think I should help, see? So I was just about to go out the storeroom myself when... So she heard 2 shots. Had a couple of shots go off, too, I think. Was at the same time. And then there was, right at my feet, lying face down on the floor. It was next to the storeroom door, so I slammed it shut and locked it quickly as you like. Because you thought whoever had shot Mr. Windybank might come for you? Yeah, so I went to grab the old cove's weapon. Figured I'd put up a fight at least. But when I got a better look at him, I knew. Windybank was a goner. You should have been... Okay, I'm not gonna say Van Zeeks doesn't have his good moments. I don't think anyone should be in that position. But he was very sweet. Like, he was not scared of her. He worried about her. And that tells a lot about his character, that he cared about her safety. Like, golly. Yeah. She had it to protect herself. Like I theorized early in the stream, is that she grabbed it to protect herself. I felt funny in my head all of a sudden, kind of dizzy. And after that, I don't remember nothing. Which probably, just the realization that Windybank was dead, probably made her pass out. Yeah, it was empty, but you have to think at the time that she's like on adrenaline and that's what she thinks that would help her, you know? That must be when you passed out, Gina. If I hadn't done what I did, the old cove might still be alive. Did you tell the police everything you just told us? Of course I did, but they didn't believe a word of it, did they? All they said was, if I kept telling lies, it'd make things even worse for me. Of course they would say that. Because they're against her to begin with.
It'll be alright, Ginny. Don't worry. Just stay strong a little longer. Bruno's about to put the real carpet through the mill.
Yes, I think it was by shock. The cove was there in the afternoon. That Egbert Benedict. I still remember how he looked at me like I was nothing. He was there that night. So she saw him! She can prove that he was there! We don't know his real name yet. So she can prove... So she has eyewitness testimony that he was there. She saw him.
Well, especially back then when she literally has, she's literally on the street. So hang on. Yeah, we still haven't gotten them to talk. Can a defendant go up to the stand? It's possible. Times haven't changed for her. Oh my gosh. Hello. That's a way to come in. Hang on 1 second. I gotta puppy break real quick, so I'll be right back. What the frick, guys? I guess we're going back to this now. Really? Like, really? Off you go. Okay. We're good now. Tss. Peace and quiet for 5 minutes. But I'm convinced that he's involved somehow. Anyway, thank you for telling us what happened, Gina. I appreciate your honesty. You what?
You can... Ugh.
Golly.
You can leave it all in Randall's capable hands now, Ginny.
Well, might as well. You have nothing else. Why? It's not just a freaking playground.
Mr. Naruto.
Yes?
Oh, come on, you... How come you trust me? I don't get it.
Did I trust Iris?
I mean, I've forgotten what happened here before. Come on, it was only 2 months ago. Me and McGill told you a whole pack of lies. And you got the bug trotter of with them, even though he was a killer.
No, I could never forget that. Oh. I did what I thought was best at the time. but the pain of that error of judgment doesn't get any easier to bear. Still, don't forget that I also made you a promise. I told you that I'd be on your side to the bitter end, no matter what. But what if I'm lying? You could be working to get another killer off the hook for all you know. I was once in your position, Gina. I was the accused in a trial. And he was also accused while on a boat. So he's had it twice. You were? Before I left Japan, I was accused of murder. As strange as it might sound, the circumstances of the crime were pretty damning. I was sure that no one would believe it wasn't me who'd done it. Yeah, he was in her position twice. Twice. I think he knows more than anyone how it feels to be falsely accused of something that you didn't do.
Oh, Bruno.
But there was one person who stood up for me, who believed in me, and was prepared to defend me. My best friend. Aww. Kazuma!
Ryanosuke, no one believes in you more than I do. Leave this to me. All you need to do is put your faith in me, and I'll do the rest.
I was so happy I cried. But even then, somewhere inside me I could help thinking, surely he doesn't really believe in me. Not completely. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, the second time, like, it's hard to freaking, like, even think how to feel about that situation. But I was wrong. As soon as my trial began, it was obvious that he had an absolute unwavering belief in me. And in turn, I developed an absolute unwavering belief in him. Oh, it's so sweet. I'm glad we got to hear about Kazuma again. It's nice to hear about him and how people think of him. Since then, I came to realize, if you want someone to believe in you, you have to believe in the other person first.
What are you saying?
I promise you, Gina, that no matter what happens, I'll keep believing in you. Yep, his memory lives on. But he's still around. So you don't need to worry. I won't let you down.
Even though I'm a diver and no good liar?
You're not like McGild. I know that. Take of that what you will. Eh?
That's right, you're our friend, Gina. Ginny?
Excuse me.
Iris.
We know you better than you think. And we come to the conclusion that you're someone we can trust.
Yes.
That's really all we need to know.
Exactly.
Mr. Naruto,
Aw, she's crying.
Defendant Gina Let's Trade and her legal representative. Court proceedings are about to resume. Please head into the courtroom immediately.
Hey, she's allowed to be happy that someone believes her. Yes, of course. Thank you. Into battle again. Oh my gosh, really? I've been both a defendant and a defending lawyer in my time, so I knew only too well just how hard it was to put all your faith in another. And I also knew just how hard it was to bear the burden of another, putting all their faith in you. This is it at last. The final chapter, the final battle. Wish me luck, Susato-san, and I hope you're watching over me too. Partner. Aww. He wants help from Cosimo. Aha! 17th of April, 1:41 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. They must have only had one courtroom. Maybe just because of how obnoxiously big this courtroom is.
I hereby call this court to order as we resume the trial of Miss Gina Letstrade. Lord Van Zeeks, have you successfully subpoenaed the witness?
The subpoena was delivered to the communication station where the man works immediately, my lord. However, the heavy rain has delayed the arrival of his carriage, it would seem.
Huh.
I see. Then let us turn to our attention to Inspector Gregson's praise of the case heard by the court this morning. The glaring omission of the third bulletin report is a serious blunder, Inspector.
Yes, I can only apologize, my lord.
And although the defense's chemical analysis of the blood at the scene makes for a compelling argument, I cannot permit such untried methods to be used as evidence in my courtroom.
It's a big mistake to cross Hurley and me. A very big mistake.
Oh boy.
My lord, the subpoenaed witness has just arrived in the building.
Thank you, officer. Show him to the stand without delay.
Mr. Egbert Benedict. I didn't expect to be crossing paths with him again so soon, and certainly not like this. I think we all suspected him at some point. 1, 2, 3, 4. This witness stand is getting longer and longer and longer.
Thank you for complying with the court subpoena at such short notice, sir.
Why didn't they have this in the present day of Ace Attorney? What, multiple witnesses? I don't know. Most of the games were made before this, so it wasn't something that was used? Oh, that? I don't know. Because it's more easier to test for... There's more advanced methods? Like, modern-day testing for blood and things? Because you can literally find out for a fact with the blood test. Because they have official blood types. Yeah. Like, you can tell what someone's blood is. Like, there's a whole system for it.
But of course, my lord, as an upstanding member of London society, it's my pleasure to oblige.
Oh yeah, you forgot. Well, you're a cat, so I guess that makes sense that you kind of don't remember.
Now kindly state your name and occupation for the record.
Oh, that's your name.
Ashley Graydon, communications officer. Graydon and I work at London's Central Communication Station. Now perhaps somebody would kindly explain what all this is about. You were appraised for the situation by the court officer on your way here, I presume?
Yes, you low-down thief. Or almost thief.
Yes, I was. Something to do with a murder that took place at a pawnbroker's on Baker Street.
Grey Dawn. Grey Dawn? Grey Dawn?
Some nonsense about me having been there on the night in question. That is the accusation, indeed. It was really beyond a joke, you know.
My gosh.
Very well, without further delay, the court will hear your testimony now, Mr. Graydon.
My gosh, you guys. You are obsessed with this name now. Which do you like better? His current, like his actual name, or Eggs Benedict?
You will respond to the accusation made against you under oath.
Gladly, my lord, gladly.
Oh boy. Witness testimony. The accusation.
Naturally, I have occasion to make use of pawnbrokering services from time to time.
Might be real. Sounds more sophisticated. Yeah, it kinda does, doesn't it? Weirdly enough, it does.
But are you seriously suggesting I colluded with these thugs to break into a place on the night of the murder?
Yes, I am.
I have no intention of admitting to such an outrageous accusation, even if certain parties here present claim that my blood was found at the scene. Some scaramouth detectives' home brewing tincture can hardly be taken as serious evidence.
Oh, so you don't like the detective so much, do you now? Give it. What do you mean? No, he is not getting the music disc.
So, you deny the accusations completely, do you?
I must say I'm dismayed. For the highest court in the land to be swayed by the self-professed detective's toy. It was the will of the jury, and our great British justice system demands that the jury's will is upheld.
Ah. Never played that.
Then it would seem we have the misfortune of most inept assembly of jurors today.
Wow, you're really not trying to get on their good side, are you? They're the ones who make a freaking jury judgment. I don't know. I'd have to think about the pun. Like, I would genuinely have to sit down... Well, technically, we pretty much have made a pun. Like, Renaissance. So my name is Renaissance. Is the pun that we've made, so I guess that pun. Among them too. Yeah, that is true. Well, no, a coworker. I don't know if it's his boss. They're coworkers. Now it's confirmed.
By golly. How long am I expected to be detained here?
If following the defense's cross-examination, your involvement in this matter has not been established, you will be free to leave immediately.
Good, then I shall be in my way in time for afternoon tea. Some small consolation, at least.
Renaissance. So very funny.
Let us not hold up Mr. Gregton any longer than necessary. Counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
Well, he gave me frickin' nothing. So we meet again, Mr. Egbert Benedict? Or is it Mr. Gregton?
My apologies, you are...
Marinowski Naruto, defense lawyer. We have met.
If you say so. Ashley Graydon. Enchanted. So...
What? Why?
I trust we can conclude this quickly.
Why'd you give me your hat? But I'm not holding your flashy hat while we do. No, I do not. You just are... You will never let that name die, will you? Just like... Just like the other name. Alright. If he just wears his hat. Yeah, it would be very funny. Be like, it's mine now. Oh, I want this. There we go. Yes, we even met in the very pawnbrokery where the crime took place on the afternoon of the day in question. Though, of course, you introduced yourself by a different name at the time. Yeah, very weird you would do that. It was Mr. Egbert Benedict, I believe. Tell me, what made you...
Objection!
The witness is here to testify to events that took place that night.
Well, he is being stubborn.
He's under no obligation to answer such unrelated questions.
It might be related, you jerk. Let me finish what I'm saying. To remove it. You can't be serious.
Thank you, because I'm certainly do not feel inclined to answer such an inappropriate question.
I think it is very appropriate. Why did you lie about your name? Why? There was a freaking detective. An inspector, nonetheless. So he's going to be evasive, is he? In an effort to not give anything away. This could be tricky.
Are you suggesting? Okay.
Hold it!
Because the judge doesn't think so? He would say overruled or not. So the story doesn't call for it. Have you seen these two men before?
This pair? No, I don't associate with criminals.
I love they both look this way. No, he has. In this one, he's probably done it maybe once or twice. The original judge has. Wow, I can see the pun, golly. But yeah, the original judge has. This one has before, I'm pretty sure. Sorry. And it's probably happened where I've gone wrong and it says abstained or something. Said by a man who introduced himself as Egbert Benedict.
I'd like to know who I have to thank for this. Who made this outlandish accusation against me? The young lawyer there in the black. This is a farce. Whose idea was it to permit an outsider to work in a British court anyway?
Excuse you? If I have the licensing and approvement from Mel Strongheart, then shush. The Lord Chief Justice says I could. So what do you mean? Are you questioning Strongheart's authority? He really is just pushing buttons today.
Well, needless to say,
Hold it!
Where were you around 1 in the morning on the night in question, sir?
this is past the hour at which I normally retire. Certainly, I was not in the company of these rapscallions.
You're able to prove that?
Objection!
Really?
Listen carefully, my lord and Pawnee's friend. For you appear to be under a gross misapprehension on this point.
What do you mean?
The witness maintains he was not at the scene of the crime. He has no obligation to prove his absence. The accusation is that the witness was present at the scene. The obligation lies with you to prove your assertion.
Great.
You will fulfill that obligation before putting any more unreasonable questions to the witness.
Sorry, that dance was obnoxious. A silent victory wiggle. Thanks.
Hold it!
That was a new one. Blood was found at the scene of the crime. There's no question of that. Mr. Shlom's chemical analysis has positively identified the substance as such.
I'm not the only human to have blood running through my veins, am I?
How can you be sure that blood is mine?
It could equally be the blood of one of these two miscreants.
Every individual's blood has a slightly different composition, it seems. Mr. Shlom's chemical is able to differentiate different blood types? Is that what he said? Blood samples by.
Not at the court.
Yeah.
Spare me the science lesson. Who is this Shlom's character anyway?
You don't know Sherlock... Excuse me. Sherlock Sholmes? Oh, I assumed all Londoners would know the name. He's a renowned detective. Yes?
So even you aren't able to bring yourself to say great detective?
Well, we know him personally, and he can be a good detective. But I have many questions of him not thinking his ideas all the way quite through.
A great detective, you say? Now we're in the realm of fairy tales, are we?
Nash, what do you have to say?
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Skulkin?
What, me?
No, the Mr. Skulkin next to you. We have to cover up his mistakes on his induction yet. If for your blood...
Probably pink. Maybe even blue. So kind of like Danganronpa. If you've seen Danganronpa, probably something like that.
I've had up to here with this. How many times have I got to tell you?
Yes, I know. You're not big bro skulky. I'm talking about the other one. Other one. Mr. Nash Skulkin. Got blind, Governor. You what? It was filled with vitamin C. I guess that's one thing. Huh. Interesting. Is it not the case that when Mr. Graydon just spoke, a thought went through your mind? Would you care to share that thought with the court? Me thoughts? I had none of them. It must have been him.
You what?
Mr. Nash Skulkin, answer the question, please. What went through your mind when Mr. Graydon just spoke? Nothing. Honest, Gov. Nothing. I was just thinking. If he waves his arms like that around more, it'll open up the wound again. That's all. The what? The wound? What wound? He took the bullet, of course. Because it was only 2 days ago. It ain't gonna be healed up yet. So I was, well, you know. I was wanting for him. And how did you know that he was injured? Oh, hick bells. Mr. Graydon, did you hear that? What? Your comrade is worried about you, it seems. What the frick? I don't know if that would make you Irish, just because green. An account of your injured arm. My lord.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Graydon?
I have no idea what these two wretches are talking about. Why are you holding your arm, then?
Certainly, I shouldn't be expected to answer anything in relation to these mindless insinuations.
We know that someone other than the victim was hit by a bullet at the scene of the crime 2 nights ago. And from the height of the bullet hole in the wall, that person was likely hit in the upper arm or thereabouts. Where exactly you're holding your arm? Perhaps you'd allow a court official to examine your arm, sir? The left arm that you're currently clasping with your right hand as if in pain?
No, I refuse.
Why? If this is not allegedly anything related, why would, you not?
You have shown no evidence whatsoever that links me to these common thieves.
They just said so.
Accordingly, I'm not obligated to permit such an invasion of my privacy. As I've already said, I'm completely uninvolved in all this. I've never had anything to do with the pawnbroker where this fellow was killed whatsoever.
What do you mean?
You were literally there. I take offense at the insinuation that I was in any way involved.
You claim to have nothing whatsoever to do with Mr. Windybank's pawnbrokery?
My lord, the defense would like that last statement added to Mr. Graydon's formal testimony. Please and thank you.
Very well, counsel. Continue with your testimony, Mr. Graydon.
You messed up. You messed up. You messed up. You messed up. You messed up.
Yeah, even the judge is like,
What would be the exact... Would it be the disc? Okay. Have you seen this disc before, Mr. Graydon?
why? Is it supposed to mean something?
The disc was, until the day of his murder, in pawn in Mr. Windybank's shop. It was redeemed by the defendant, Miss Gina Letchtrey, that afternoon. However, somebody mysteriously appeared to try to take it from her. And that somebody was you, of course. Wasn't it, Mr. Graydon? The detective to your left can attest to that fact.
As I have reiterated numerous times now, you're mistaken. That was not me. I've never seen that disc before in my life.
It may have escaped your notice, but there is a small smear of blood on the disc.
Ah, yes, resulting from an abrasion of the thumb, perhaps.
That's right. The surface of the disc is covered in hundreds of tiny metal bumps. In the skirmish to acquire the disc, the thumb of the person who tried to take it suffered minor lacerations. So, while the disc bears the remnants of the skirmish in the form of the smear of blood, the thumb of the person in question must bear the remnants also, in the form of scratch.
Good gracious! Indeed it must!
Mr. Graydon, you refused to allow a court officer to examine your arm before. Are you now going to refuse to allow us to examine your thumb? Because I have no doubt that it bears a small scratch consistent with the smear of blood on this disc. And we also have the inspector's testimony to prove that he was there.
Well, well. It would seem I underestimated you.
What is the meaning of this?
So you admit it now. You admit you have a scratch on your thumb from when you attempted to take the disc from the defendant? There must be some frickin' thin gloves, man.
Order! Order! Well, Mr. Graydon? Graydon?
It would appear that there have been something of a misunderstanding here. I did not attempt to take the disc, as you put it. No, quite the reverse.
What are you trying to say?
It really, quite simply, you see, the disc was mine from the outset.
No, it wasn't.
Is there some crime in taking an item that you own at a pawn?
What?
It would seem, Mr. Graydon, that in this piece of evidence, my learned friend has established a link between yourself and the incident. Accordingly, you will tell the court everything you know about this disc now.
Yeah, what is the point of this disc?
As you wish. Though I'm quite sure it has nothing whatsoever to do with the pawnbroker's murder.
He has a complete straight face about this. What a freaking cold-hearted killer.
The disc. There's a note on the disc saying form a guild, but the item belongs to me. The redemption ticket was stolen from me by the accused, that filthy gutterling, on the day in question. I proceeded at once to the shop in order to explain my situation and redeem my article.
Hello, I'm doing good. Hopefully you're doing good.
In the end, of course, the disc was taken by the police. In other words, I had absolutely no reason to break into the shop later that same night.
I wouldn't say so.
Did I hear you correctly, sir? McGill, you say? The famous London philanthropist?
Yeah, that one. The one that went in fire. That one.
Who perished in this very courtroom 2 months ago after being acquitted of a distinctly messy murder.
Yes, my lord, the one and the same.
Good lord, Mr. Graydon! Are you saying that Mr. McGill and yourself are acquainted?
Really?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, that explains so much of you being a conniving weasel.
Order! Well, I certainly did not expect to hear that name uttered here in my courtroom again.
According to what Gina told us, this disc was placed in pawn on that fateful night 2 months ago. McGill himself gave instructions to deposit it at Windybanks.
It's funny that Mr. Graydon here is claiming the disc belongs to him then, isn't it?
In all likelihood, he's lying. So he appeared that afternoon at Windybanks in order to get his hands on McGill's disc for some reason.
Counsel, you will commence your cross-examination, please.
Yes, I have done really well playing this game. Only I've had like one blunder, really. What about the bus? What if... He might have it. Maybe he could caught the bus on fire. It's possible. It is a definite possibility. We don't know who set fire to the omnibus that killed McGill. So, he could have been the murderer of Magnus. Maybe for the disc.
Hold it!
We don't know why. would you care to explain how this belongs to you?
As you will observe, a communications officer such as myself commands a fine salary.
You are certainly exquisitely dressed, sir.
So you see, I have very little need to make use of the services provided by the pawnbrokery trade. However, I did once find myself in difficulties having misplaced my purse whilst on an errand, which is why I pawned my fine black overcoat to the broker in question.
You claim that was your overcoat? That's covered in blood?
Obviously, and in my haste I plainly forgot the music box disc was in its pocket. And yet there is a note on it that reads from McGill. I am a collector of rare and unusual music box. I'm a collector of rare and unusual music box music. I first met Mr. McGill at a gentleman's club in the city and was interested to discover that he shared my penchant in that area.
So, the disc in question.
It's a pre-production sample. Promise to let Mr. McGill hear it. Then you forgot that it was in the pocket of the overcoat you were forced to pawn.
Oh my god. Why does Nidra use expert testimony? I don't know.
Yes, exactly.
Gina didn't mention any of that in her testimony 2 months ago, did she?
No, because McGill had threatened her to keep her mouth shut. Which means that if we dig too deeply here, it's going to expose Gina's perjury.
Oh boy! Oh dear, this is complicated, isn't it?
Let's leave it alone for the time being.
Hold it!
So you're saying that Miss Let's Trade lifted the ticket from your pocket or bag?
That's right, despite being mindful of danger when walking the Syllabrus areas her kind frequent.
Objection!
Miss Lettrade did no such thing.
Well, of course she would take that stance, but that girl's a regular offender.
You came to the pawnbrokery that day, prepared with all the information you needed to identify the defendant. You were looking for her. That's what brought you to Windybanks. To get your hands on Mr. McGill's disc.
Objection!
My learned friend is a veritable font of nonsense.
Nonsense?
I concur with the prosecution. Counsel, you will refrain from conjecturing in this way. Is that clear?
See, I told you.
Yes, my lord. Then I will continue with my testimony for what possible use it can be.
The shop, explain my situation.
Hold it!
Have you ever been to Windybanks before?
Only once for the purpose of pawning something, but like many I enjoy browsing in such establishments. So when you noticed that the pocket had taken your ticket, you chased after her, is that correct?
Well, anesthesia, I think makes you tired. I think that's different than sleeping gas. Sleeping gas makes you silly. Or... No, there's laughing... I don't know which one's the different. Anesthesia makes you sleepy, and then you have laughing gas that makes you, like, laugh. My gosh, my brain.
Yes, that's right, I didn't notice at first. Such is the art of the pick purse. But when I did, I headed to the pawnbrokery at once in order to reclaim my coat before the thief could.
He just had a description, to my understanding. He just had... I swear one of these things had, like, a... had her, like, description on the back of the photo. It was one of the first of them. It just had her complete description.
Was merely trying to recover what was rightfully mine in the first place.
He can say what he likes because he knows we have no evidence to contradict him on this. Right now. And then, of course, the disc was taken by the police. Yes, it was taken by Inspector Gregson here, wasn't it?
That's right, that was the very man. Apparently, the police are collecting anything that has a connection to Mr. McGill as evidence. Yes?
Excuse me.
Gregson? Is something wrong, Inspector?
Well, what do you mean?
The last remark Mr. Graydon made in his testimony seemed to trouble you in some way.
No, it didn't. It's nothing, leave it alone.
Let me ask you this, Inspector. Why is Scotland Yard gathering Mr. McGill's possessions? Yeah, why?
I can't tell you something like that, Sunshine.
What is it, Inspector? Investigative secrets?
Yes, exactly. You should know all about that.
Ah. Yeah, so anesthesia is the sleeping gas. Okay. Manus McGill, who died so unexpectedly after his trial 2 months ago. A man renowned throughout the capital for his great contributions to public life, yet he has a dark side too.
Where are you going with this, Van Zeeks?
I suppose the police are dealing with the aftermath of his nefarious activities, are they?
That's enough. Coppers like me have duties to carry out when we're not at liberty to talk about. That's all you need to know.
You sleep. Huh. Duties conferred by Lord Strongheart, I presume? The Lord Chief Justice appears to have great faith in you, Inspector. Yes, he does.
The bottom line is, if you want to get more out of me, you're gonna need Lord Strongheart's paw print first.
What does he have to talk to his boss? What's this all about? What's all this about? It's like there's something going on between Gregson and Lord Van Zeeks here. Probably. Yes, I do. I do. Yes, I do celebrate Christmas. I do.
Well, it would appear that the inspector has revealed all he is at liberty to reveal. Mr. Graydon, let us return to your testimony.
Gladly, my lord.
Hold it!
Perhaps you've seen something of value among the forfeited items? No, not at all. Oh boy. You guys just really love to make puns with my name, golly. Oh. I think he just means he wants you need to give, like, a paper signed with the signature saying that Lord Strongheart says he can say what they're investigating. A valuer was brought in by the police to assess everything in the shop. Without exception, every article on the shelves was common or garden bric-a-brace. In that case, it's clear. Yes, it is an adorable pun name. Though on Christmas. Oh my gosh, it keeps going. That you broke into the shop later that day in order to recover Mr. McGill's disc. Have you not been listening, ma'am? Even if I wanted to recover the disc, you may recall that it's been seized by the police that afternoon. It was no more than a shop that night. Then as I keep saying, I simply have no reason to break in. So there was nothing of McGill's left in the shop that night. Nothing that this man would have been after. I wonder if that's really true.
Bruno, if you have some evidence, then let him have it. I'm dying to see that irritatingly assured expression of his crumble.
Oh my gosh. McGill slipped the disc into his coat pocket and had it deposited at Windybanks. Then, when he realized he was going to be arrested on suspicion of the omnibus murder, he threatened Gina and forced her to take the redemption ticket. Ha ha ha, you're so funny. There's no
Doubt about it that the witness is lying through his pearly white teeth.
The police were obviously after anything left behind by McGill as well. That's why Inspector Gregson ended up taking the disc in custody that day. Oh my gosh.
But Gregsy's being very strange about all this.
There must be a reason for that, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is.
For now, I need to focus on exposing the fact that Mr. Graydon is lying in his testimony. Cause to renown. Ha 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 ha. Oh boy. Oh, this chap. Alright, I have a... I have something to present.
Objection.
This disc was deposited at Windybank's at Magnus McGill's instructions. You knew that, and you went there with the intention of obtaining it for yourself.
Objection!
Conjecture again. In any case, the disc was taken into custody by the police that afternoon.
Oh my gosh. You guys just really like the puns.
There's no the witness had no reason to visit the pawnbroker again that night.
Objection.
Actually, he did. Sorry, my learned friend, but that's not true.
What?
Mr. McGill had another article in pawn at Windybanks. As this second pawnbroker's ticket proves. Aha! There were 2 articles belonging to Mr. McGill in the Windybanks pawnbrokery. Well, that depends on if I get annoyed enough. I think you'll know. I'll tell you guys that... The point is, if I tell you to stop and you continue, then, yeah. That's the thing. And the reason you broke into the shop that night was to recover the second one. Together with your 2 accomplices, the Skulkin brothers.
This is the second ticket, is it?
What had the man deposited?
No instigating. No instigating. The article description reads 1 small box.
A rather vague description, it seems to me.
Are you suggesting I broke into the pawnbrokeries with these clowns in order to steal some trinket box? I believe there are other adequate grounds to suspect that you did.
This is absurd. Why on earth would I do such a thing?
Once the article had been forfeited, I could simply walk into the shop and purchase it. There would be absolutely no need for me to resort to theft. That's a good point.
Indeed, the witness makes a solid argument.
No, but if Gina has the papers, why would? It wouldn't be going for forfeited.
So that means that for some reason, this Graydon fellow needed the little box that very night, doesn't it?
Objection!
Let me talk.
It's time to put an end to this nonsense, my lord.
Could you be a little less cryptic, Lord Van Zeeks?
I hate to ruin my learned friend's argument, but the truth is quite incontrovertible. On the night in question, no small box was taken from Windybank's pawnbrokery. And rest assured, the prosecution can prove it.
Yes, hello. Welcome back. Like I said, no instigating. What?
Good gracious!
Inspector, show the photographic prints to the court, if you please.
Oh, you have more prints? How many prints did these guys go through?
Yes, sir.
What prints?
These prints were taken from one of the detective's security cameras.
Oh, Hurley's red-handed recorders again.
As previously explained, he is in his plan of the shop layout. The victim's establishment was furnished with automatic cameras in 2 locations. One was set to capture the counter where Mr. Windybank receives his customers, and the other was set to capture the shelves on which articles were placed for sale once forfeited. According to the information on this ticket, McGill's small box had been forfeited already. 2 days before the incident, at 9 p.m. on 13th of April to be precise.
Really?
Which means it would have been on the shelves of forfeited items in the shop front. Now, what I have here is print taken by one of the cameras about 2 hours before the incident. That's 11 p.m. on 15th of April.
The The victim certainly has a very full shop, it would appear.
And then we have another print. This one was taken about 2 hours after the incident. There's probably some slight change, and I just don't see it yet.
I see, so we have 2 pictures to compare. Though I must say the side by side leaves me cold.
Trying to see if there is a difference. Wait. Is there? I think I see the difference. Yeah, it said a box is moved. This moved. Closer to whatever this is. It moved. Itself and no one else. Oh my god. I assumed so.
Dear me, that started to make my head ache.
Obviously, at Scotland Yard, we consider theft as one possible motive in this case. We explored the possibility that something had been taken in addition to the victim's life.
So you men have already compared these 2 prints thoroughly, Inspector?
Yes, sir. Well, I found a difference. It took me a second, but I found it. We counted every single item in each of these 2 photographic prints. And the Yard conclusion is that exactly the same number are present in both. In other words, nothing was taken from the pawnbrokery on the night in question. And my learned friend's assertion is nothing more than a hopeful fantasy. Get up! Come on, Ryunosuke. I don't believe it. If I could just have shown that he'd stolen McGill's pawn box. I might have been able to break him down at last.
You know what, Bruno? I've been thinking. I wonder if these 2 photographs really are exactly the same.
They're very close, don't get me wrong. There's one slight difference, though. What?
So, counsel, in the light of the evidence put forth by the prosecution, what is your position? It seems that in fact on the night in question, nothing was stolen from the victim's establishment.
Oh my gosh.
Do you accept the prosecution's assertion?
No, I do not. I don't know. Could there be something hidden discrepancy in these 2 photograph prints somewhere? Yes. Yes, there is. Point out a discrepancy. After I save.
Save the thing.
Point out a discrepancy. I wasn't sure at first, but there is a clear discrepancy between these 2 prints. What?
You must identify the location in question for the court, counsel. Indicate the precise location of the discrepancy of which you speak.
It's right... there.
Take that!
Granted, these 2 prints are almost identical. However, there is one minor discrepancy between them. What? When you view the 2 pictures stereoscopically, this box. A single area stands out as being different, the location of this small box.
Let me wait. Unbelievable.
We have a zoom out with him with that stereoscope on there. And the freaking... oh my gosh, we're doing it again.
By Jove, you're right, how extraordinary!
What this tells us is very simple. Mr. McGill's small box was indeed not stolen from Windybanks on the night in question. However, there can be no doubt that somebody picked up this particular box and then returned it to its original place on the shelves.
Are you suggesting that the small box originally deposited by Mr. McGill is in fact...
Yes, the very same small box I just identified in those photographic prints.
Objection!
Mindless guesswork. What if it was? So a box was moved on the shelf. Nothing was stolen.
That you know of.
Which means, quite simply, that nothing has changed.
That may be true, but... Alright, McGill's box wasn't stolen then. But the fact... But doesn't the fact that it was moved like that change things? It changes everything.
I believe this changes everything about the case.
How can that possibly be?
The critical point is the fact that what was moved was a small box. In other words, we have to consider what might have been inside that box.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that we need to examine that box as soon as possible. Yes? A vital piece of evidence is sitting on the shelves at Windybanks as we speak.
Objection!
That won't be necessary.
Wow, did he grab the box too? Does this man just have deep pockets? Good golly.
Some little box belonged to a man who died 2 months ago. Can't possibly relevant to this trial.
Court does not uphold your objection, Lord Van Zinks. Bailiff, arrange for an officer to go to Baker Street at once. Obtain the small box in question and bring it back here for further examination.
Woohoo! The judge is on our side. The judge is on our side. I'd have to think about that. Oh my gosh. I guess piccolo is a funny word to say. Piccolo, 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 piccolo.
We should have a report within a half an hour. I think perhaps you should recess for a short while until the evidence is brought forth.
My gosh.
To be hoodwinked by such a farce. Disappointing.
I beg your pardon, Lord Van Zinks.
This is nothing but a smokescreen, a Nipponiese specialty, it would seem.
Oh my gosh. What are you trying to say?
My learned friend has persistently with the same line of reasoning from the very beginning, that this witness's intent was to steal an article belonging to Mr. McGill from the pawnbroker. Yet common sense tells us that none of the articles have value enough to be worth stealing in the first place.
Exactly. It would be beyond absurd to break into a place for the purpose of stealing such commonplace property. My gosh, this music.
If your lordship recalls, Mr. McGill perished 2 months ago immediately after the conclusion of his trial. A trial in which he was found not guilty. A trial in which it was established he was the upstanding member of society whose reputation implied in fact.
Even though you don't believe that for a fact.
So I propose a toast to my learned friend in his most insightful defense.
The articles this upstanding member of society pawned were entirely ordinary. A black overcoat that happened to have a music box disc in one of its pockets, and a small box. Yeah. Yes.
I assure you I wouldn't accept even if the man tried to make a gift of such thing to me.
Well, I'm going to be in a second.
You know what? It makes rather a lot of sense.
It's not as if it was gold or jewels, is it? Though goodness knows, but you can't deposit a cash at pawnbroker, I'm quite certain of that.
The prosecution's argument is with undeniably compelling.
It is incumbent on the defense now to bolster its argument.
And there goes another one.
To explain what possible significance this commonplace article pawned by the fine citizens could have.
Well, thanks for stopping by. See you next time. Yeah, I think I'll stop here. And then we'll finish next time and then head into the second game, which is gonna be exciting. Cause, yeah, my throat's
Dying. I'm literally becoming the judge.
oh boy. But yeah, so next time, we'll finish Great Ace Attorney. The first one. And then... Oh, very funny. But then we'll finish Great Ace Attorney Adventures and then get to Resolve. So that'll be exciting. So, thank you guys for watching the stream, and I will see you guys next time.